Hello, beautiful moms and entrepreneurs. Hello, Unbreakable Mompreneurs. My name is Charisse Walker, and today I'm here with Kaylea Van Arsdale. And I am so impressed with her story. She's been through a lot and she's accomplished a lot. And so, without further ado, I actually want her to be able to explain everything that she's done and what she does now. And so, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to us?
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm Kaylea Van Arsdale, CEO and founder of Managed by Magic, but I am a survivor. I went through years of domestic violence and abuse. I had over 9 years of childhood abuse as well. And through all of that, I really had no sense of self by the end of it. I was a shell of a person and I didn't have the strength to really fight for myself any further until my 2-year-old walked into the room and my abuser was holding me down, yelling in my face. And I went, that's it. I now have the strength. It may not be my strength, but I have the strength to get out of this because my child will not repeat this cycle. My mother had told me a story of when my father had done that and she knew it was time for her to leave. And to see it happening in my own life was like a gut punch. Like, how could I have been told and had seen this abuse from my mother and not had actually lived by her example of leaving? And when it happened to me, I was like, that's it. I'm done. I need to leave. I had nothing to my name. I had some skills within the business industry because I had been managing my abuser's business as well, but I really didn't have anything much to my name. I had my mother. So I went to her, drove, I think it was like 16 hours to her house with my 2-year-old in the car. And she really helped me to rediscover myself. She gave me the space to rediscover who I was and what I wanted. She gave me support in knowing that we could stay up late and play cards and drink coffee and talk so that my thoughts wouldn't be filled with, am I doing the right thing by leaving the situation? It was filled with support and guidance. And in doing that, I found out like I want better and I deserve better. And why not have better? I started to think romance was only for the movies. I
Mhm.
thought, surely somebody has made up this fantastical idea of what love is, and it doesn't actually exist, and people don't actually experience this, but it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if so many people have movie after movie, show after show filled with love, it's gotta exist. And if it does, why not for me? Why can't I have a love that is actually fulfilling and doesn't tear me down and hold me still and scream in my face? Why can't I have a love that supports me and nurtures me and motivates and inspires, empowers me? Like, seriously. And that's when I realized, well, if I want that, I've got to change.
Mhm.
I need to change who I am and what I will allow in my life. I had no boundaries.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, now you got your master's in science and psychology, right? So
Yeah,
for that you didn't, but then you went back to school and then you started a company and you've created courses and you help other people create courses as well now, right?
absolutely. So I've
Oh, go ahead.
found I love knowledge. I love learning.
And you found yourself and you became comfortable with yourself, right?
Absolutely. And it gave me power.
Mhm. And that's exactly like the book that I wrote. Like that is my mission. That is my goal. It's because I was in, and I wouldn't say it's abusive physically. It wasn't at all. He's the nicest guy ever, but mentally. And when I finally realized, no, this is just manipulation and it's not going to work on me anymore, and it's killing me literally.
Yeah.
It was that it's time to move on. And as much as I fought that decision as well, because I knew it was right, but I didn't want to because I had 4 kids. And so it's hard. It's hard. Did your abuser, did he fight for custody with your child or did he let you go?
Yeah, we decided that he didn't want to go to the courts because he had tax issues that he didn't want to be brought up.
Mm.
So he didn't want his funds to be evaluated. He wanted everything to be amicably agreed upon. So our child was 2 when I left, and we decided we would do month-long visits. They would go to him for a month and then would come to me for a month until they get to a school age. Now, the first month comes, and like I said, we were like 16 hours apart. We met halfway. He picked up his son and then left. Now, on the pickup return, it was hours after the meeting point. I had no update as to where they were or what was going on. And it turned out that he, who has works from home and has all flexibility in his schedule, decided not to go on the return trip. So he put the 2-year-old in a car with some friends who were like 21, 22, like no familiar relation. They got a little bit lost, and so that had caused the delay. And I had complained. I said, "This is irresponsible. You should have been there. If a car wreck happens, they won't know who he belongs to or who to contact. And you had the right to be there. Like it's a long drive. Why didn't you see your child off when you could have chosen to do that?" And he said, "You better shut your mouth, or I will call them and tell them to turn around and you will never see him again." And I bit my tongue. I bit it so hard. I was like, "Yeah, you're right. They're probably lost. Whatever, I'll wait." They did arrive. I did get my child. We drove a couple hours down the road, and then I called him and I said, "Listen here. You will not have unsupervised visits with our child until we get a court order, because I need to guarantee that my child is safe. And this was completely unsafe. And you threatening to take my child away means I wouldn't be able to protect him, because my lawyer had advised me if he had taken him, it's not kidnapping, it's parenting." So I was like, I need to find a way to protect my child and my relationship. And it was, we need a court order. We need to go and actually get this legalized so that I can ensure safety of my child. And until then, you can have visitation, but it does need to be supervised so I can guarantee that you do not try to take my child and keep him from me. He refused. He didn't want anything to do with it. So he never saw him again after that.
Good for you, first of all, because I mean, I was scared for you when you told me that he left for a month, and I
Yeah.
was afraid that you weren't going to get him back at that point. It's hard because you are trying to work with the situation because you have a son, and that is his father, and he should have legal right. He should have the ability to see him. And it's so hard because you get between a rock and a hard place because you as the victim are trying to make things work. You're still trying to be amicable when you have this abuser that it's all about control, it's all about manipulation, and it's all about fear. And so it's just hard. And you have a degree in psychology, but it's hard because they make you feel like you're the bad guy or the bad woman.
Yeah.
And in reality, you're not. And I think that anyone who's listening to this, like if you're in that situation, it's like you're not alone. And you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You have the ability and you have the right. And with your son, like you're right. He's going to do it to other people and he's going to grow up thinking it's okay. And there's this cycle. It's the fourth turning is what it's called, where you have a grandparent, you have the parent, you have you, and then you have your child. And if you don't break that, whatever it may be, that continual thing that is passed down generation to generation, then it will continue to happen. So kudos to you for the courage that you had.
Yeah, I think it's, really important to, as you say, note that this is normal experience that victims go through.
Yeah.
It's not abnormal. In the moment, we like to think, "Oh, I'm the only one who's going through this. No one will understand." But there's support groups and stuff out there. There are lawyers you can call and just get free consultation calls
Mhm.
so that they can guide you along the way. And that's what I did when I was like fearful of not getting him back. I called a lawyer and was like, "Can I have a free consultation call? What do I do in this situation?" And he was like, "This is what you need to do
Mhm.
if you want to protect your child." And yeah, so I did that. And thankfully, I say thankfully, that he decided to give up contact. It's not thankful. My child deserves 100% to be loved and desired and wanted by a biological father. It is a shame that this human being would not want such an amazing child in their life. It just blows my mind. But they deserve better.
Mhm.
And when he did cut that off, I found an amazing partner. We got engaged. We found out that if we were married for 1 year, that in that state we were living in, there would be no fee for an adoption.
Oh, wow.
So we got married, and I reached out to the biological father and I said, here's our plans. We would like to be married for 1 year, at which case this allows us to proceed with adoption. Would you sign away your parental rights? And he did. So my child is adopted. I now don't have that fear of if something were to happen to me,
Mhm.
that he would go back to that situation. And
Mhm.
that was a big fear for me. So if that is one for you, look at what kind of,
Mhm.
things you can do. Potentially it is getting married and waiting a period of time or whatever it may be. But I now feel relief in that if something happens to me, he doesn't go back to that. He's got a family that loves and supports him.
That's amazing. That happened with my husband that he married this lady because of her that the father of the child unfortunately can deal with her, rightfully so. He signed over his rights and my husband ended up adopting the son. And it's hard to see because every situation is different. It is. And for people to judge, you can't. It's you have no idea, and I call it the iceberg. You have no idea what goes on behind closed doors. And that's the important part that I think that as we shift our conversation for a minute, that we talk about boundaries and we talk about boundaries with yourself and trust in yourself and the love of yourself. So how did you get to that point?
It was just, there was a straw that broke the camel's back, and it was like, hey, I need boundaries on everything. And I need to clearly communicate those boundaries and then stick to the boundaries. And
Right.
that was the hardest part because in the early dating periods, I would really like somebody, and then they would do something that went against my boundary. And I would be like, well, yeah, I still really like him. And then I was like, no, we have
Mhm.
boundaries for a reason. He's not going to fit our dream life plan. We're sorry. And it's okay too. Not everybody is a fit for everybody.
Yeah.
It's okay if you don't match up. And so I was like, all right, it's okay that we didn't match up. I'm going to continue my search. And it allowed me to find what I wanted and find my husband. And then it became boundaries around how I'll be treated, how I'll be talked to, how I will treat and talk to myself as well. So it was very clear of, you can't yell at me. If you yell at me, I start to shut down. And I don't think that's healthy for our relationship. So don't yell at me. You have to talk to me. And just being clear and communicating that I was refining myself, that I was healing from trauma as well, and reminding my partner, look, I'm healing from trauma. I might feel insecure and come to you with insecurities. I'm not accusing you. I just need you to hug me and tell me you love me and that these insecurities aren't, a reality, and then prove it, like
Mhm.
just with your actions. And that's what my husband did time after time after time, is that I would come to him like, I feel insecure that maybe there's some woman at your work that you're really into. And he would be like, no, and then reassure me and show me with actions that he just backed it up
Mhm.
again and again, and not feeling like I was attacking him because I had communicated, I just need reassurance.
Yeah. It's hard because I was in a relationship once where I felt betrayed. We had gone to a counselor and he's like, look, I've said I'm sorry. How many times do I have to say I'm sorry? And the counselor said, and this was like counselor number two, but the counselor's like, look, she has every right to feel the emotions that she's feeling, and you are going to have to be patient, whether it's going to take a month, whether he goes, well, how long is it going to take? She goes, it could take a month, it could take a year, it could take 5 years. That is, it's on her time, but you have to make sure she feels secure. And it was interesting because it did take me a little bit of time, but I was able to heal from that. And so I think that forgiveness is a hard thing, but you can learn to forgive, not necessarily forget. And so I like that you were so honest and open with your partner because by telling him how you feel and him giving you that reassurance, him giving you that validation, not that shows somebody who loves you, not somebody who's trying to, diminish how you're feeling. And well, that's your problem. That's not mine type thing. Because you hear that a lot as well. And so
Yeah.
kudos to you that you set your boundaries and you found your man. So that's great.
Yeah. It's a complete turnaround.
Yeah.
I went from all this abuse and all this negativity, and after 10 years of marriage with him, we've not once had an argument.
Wow.
Not once. It's just like, because we communicate, we just
Yeah.
talk about our problems, and we sit down and we have hard conversations, and we deal with whatever insecurities each other's going on. We sit down and we talk about money. We just get real clear of like where things are at and where we want to go with it. We sit down and we talk about how we're raising our children.
Mhm.
You know, it's just about communicating, open, honesty, and really focusing on love at the core of it. Now, I'll say there's times where obviously it's not been 100% rainbows, sunshines, and whatnot. There are times where I have to think like, okay, is he intentionally trying to piss me off? No, then I know that I need to kind of like reevaluate
Right.
my emotional state,
Mhm.
kind of be like, okay, maybe it's hormones. It could be that. Look at my flow tracker. Is it the time of month? And then go, okay, it's probably hormones. I can still communicate. Hey, this kind of irritated me. It's likely hormones,
Mhm.
but I just want to voice it. And then he can come back at that with like, okay, it's probably your hormones, but I'll try not to do that again. You know?
See, that's like healthy conversations. That's healthy. That's a healthy relationship, and it is possible. Okay, so getting into what you do now, do you with the courses, with the masterminds, how did you start creating those?
Yeah, so I started off when I was a single mom trying to figure out how I'm going to support my children. I have a child. I need to actually pay money to keep them alive. How am I going to do this? And at the same time, care for them because they're 2 years old.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, there's got to be a way to make money online. There has to be a way. And I found Upwork.com, became a virtual assistant for different executives and CEOs, usually a small business focused, and really learned everything I could about their industries. And every time they would ask me, hey, can you do this or find someone who can, I would learn how to do it so that I could best serve them. And it created this like huge library of technological skills. Like I do website design, graphic design, video editing, course creation, in-person events, retreats,
Wow.
everything I could get my hands on, property management. I just learned everything I could. And then I found that I really was driven in helping people make a positive impact. And the best way I found that they could make that impact that was so scalable for them was through courses and masterminds. And since I had such a love for education and a history in education, I have my bachelor's in educational design, educational studies. So I know how to actually create lesson plans and curriculums and whatnot. So I found really driven to help my clients by helping them scale their businesses, turning their knowledge into courses. And with that, I've been able to help six-figure businesses go to multi-six figures. Some go to seven figures with it as well. And I found that it's like a ripple effect. I'm a behind the scenes kind of person, usually doing all the let's build it out. I can build it all for you. And in that kind of area, it can be easy to let yourself forget the impact you're having, but when you like actually analyze, like, oh, here's a course I built and it's helped people change their lives when they go through it. It's helped people save hundreds of thousands of dollars with this one course over here, or it's helped people create their business with one course over here, or it's helping people get in better shape and in healthier mindset over here. No matter what kind of course it is I'm helping clients create, I'm finding that like I'm having this ripple effect of positive impact, and it just continues to fuel and drive me. So I'm just like a big nerd on courses.
I love to hear, not that you're a big nerd, but you are that person that my whole podcast is for. It's that somebody who they might not, and not necessarily that they're abused, but they're just like, "Ugh, I'm not happy with my life." But it's for those people that enjoy having their freedom, having their time so that they can be a mom, so they can be a wife, so that they can enjoy their life, so they can have freedom to pursue their passions and their purpose. That's what this is about. And you make those dreams become a reality. And I just love that.
Yeah, I like to say that I'm the wouldn't it be cool if? Yeah, let's do it, girl. I'm like, I want to take your ideas and actually go, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's get it out there because it's been in your head for way too long.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. And that's the biggest thing I think holding a lot of people back is they don't necessarily know what to do or the next step. So it's like you can research, you have Google, YouTube, Chat GPT that you can utilize to really help you create your plan and your ideas and learn how to create a website and create your opt-ins or whatever it is you want to do,
Mhm.
but actually start taking action, take that step.
That's fantastic. All right. I ask every single guest, and you're going to be like, oh, that sounds familiar, but I'm going to tweak it a little. And so I want you to imagine yourself sitting on a park bench, and this 19-year-old, 9-month pregnant woman comes up to you. I don't know why I said 19. I don't care what age she is, right? But this 9-month pregnant woman comes up to you, and it's her first baby. And so you have a child, and so from the time that they were born, and you went through what you went through until now. And I'm sure you work with lots of clients who have children, so you've seen a lot of it, and you've been through that. What is one piece of advice you would give that new mother, and not necessarily in the baby stage, but just overall as a mother that's getting ready to welcome this child into the world?
They see and take in everything. They're like little absorbent sponges. So if you want them to see and take in positivity, you have to surround yourself with that positivity. If you want them to see and take in abuse, that's, a shame. I would really hope you wouldn't want that. They deserve better. You deserve better. And if you find yourself in a situation where you're not being treated the way you actually deserve to be treated as a miracle, someone who is creating life, like phenomenal that you're able to do that. You are worth everything that you dream of, and you do not have to take 1 ounce of negativity.
I love that. That's very good advice. And with a small business, just or a business in general, what is one piece of advice you would give that business owner?
Yeah, so persist. You have likely a why as to what you want to do. Normally, people don't generally start off as an entrepreneur like, I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow. It's
Mhm.
normally like, I have this idea, this passion. I know this can help people, right? And it likely can help people, but there will be obstacles that are put up at you every single step of the way. There will be distractions and shiny objects trying to keep you away from your main focus, right? But persist
I love that.
every day. Just keep showing up, show up for yourself, because if you can improve one person's life, it's worth it.
Kaylea, you have phenomenal wisdom and advice. So thank you so much. If our listeners wanted to find you, how would they do that?
Yeah, you can find me at managebymagic.com. You can book a free discovery call where we can really get into what your life is like now and what you want your dream life to be, get you some steps to actually get there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
And moms, I hope that this resonated with you, that you do have the control, you do have the power, you have the ability to do what you want. And if you have been in or are in an abusive relationship, get some help and seek advice, because you don't want to have to repeat that. And you definitely need to be able to find your happiness and find your peace. So I hope that you also take some advice and see that courses, if you're one of those people who likes to coach, or if you have a program that you really are passionate about and you're just not sure where to get started, then reach out to Kaylea. Otherwise, go out and make it a great day. And if you like what you hear, please subscribe. Beautiful moms, remember, you are unbreakable. Keep illuminating the world with your strength, pursuing your dreams, and reveling in the splendor of motherhood. This is Charisse Walker, bidding you farewell for now. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations on the next episode of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. Until then, keep shining bright. Signing off with love, Charisse Walker.